Hello and welcome back to the Games Kingdom. My name is Carl King and today we're going to be taking another look at some Alien Free League role-playing game bits and pieces. What we've got today is something that I've already done a video on, and the reason I'm going to re-show that is because part of the stuff that we're going to look at today is in conjunction with that. So we've got, firstly, that we're going to have a quick look at is the new Game Mother's screen. So this is the screen that your GM or Game Mother, as they're called in Alien rather than DM, because of the computer in the first Alien film was called Mother, so they've used that throughout the 2 editions now of the Alien role-playing game, and I think that that's a nice little fitting tribute on its own. But this new screen is basically the updated version for the new sort of evolved edition of the Alien RPG, as I say, from Free League Publishing. So if you like what you see here, or if you've seen some of my previous videos, or you want to go back and watch those, please do so. When you finished watching this, if you thought this was of some help, please give it a like, and hopefully if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I do run some giveaways on one of my 2 sets of videos from not too distant ago on some of my favourite 20 games. There is a competition stroke prize draw free of charge. If you go and watch those videos and follow the instructions in there, then you may well be picked out as a prize winner, because as of yet, even though I did those videos a month or 2 back, nobody has qualified to win the prize. So if you want to do that, by all means do that. But today's video, we're going to concentrate, as I say, on the Alien stuff that I've got here. Again, this has been kindly sent to me as review copies, but what you see here is if you buy these, or if you sort of pledged for these and they're being delivered to you, these are the items that you will get. Whether you buy them via their website, by your local gaming store, or if you're going to the upcoming UK Games Expo in a couple of weeks time, because today is the 15th of May 26, so 2 weeks today the UK Games Expo starts. Free League have once again got a trade stand there. They take all of their sort of role-playing games, they're not just Alien, and I'm sure you'll be able to buy these along with all of the other things, including the starter sets. So as I say, if you want to see any of those previous videos that I've done for both the first edition and also this new second edition, you can check those out. But yes, the stand at UK Games Expo, you'll be able to pick up whatever you need for the game, and the game is very thematic, very cinematic, and you really do get the flavour that you are playing inside that Alien universe against those xenomorphs. So this is what we will look at first. So this is the screen. So we'll show you, obviously, that's sort of like the front cover there, and you've got those bits on the side. So when you put that down on the table, obviously you as the GM, or the players, the GM will be able to see the other side, which I'll show you very shortly, and the players will be able to see that front part of the screen, and not be able to see what you're doing, what's coming up, that sort of thing, if you've done any role playing before. So your screen has got basically three sides to it, and you are going to have all of the charts that you need on this screen for you to be able to help you run the game of Alien RPG. So you've got your quick actions, you've got your close combat, you've got your full action list, quick actions, skill rolls, the stealth sequence. Then in the center here, you've got ranged combat attack, you've got a damage thing, so basically it's like a flow chart. So a lot of these things in here, some of these are flow charts, so you'll just basically sort of follow through on these and say, you know, go here, do this, do that, and you'll follow that sequence, and you'll come to obviously what will be the outcome of that particular combat and damage. You've got your range attack modifiers from +2 down to -2 and 3 there. Range categories, your typical barriers, so what they will give you from +1 to +4 on your armor levels. And then you've got your panic response table on this one here. So this is one of the main mechanisms in the game. You will have black dice and yellow dice, and the yellow dice have got a alien facehugger symbol. If you roll those, if you get stress, every time you get a point of stress, you'll be rolling along with your own particular stat dice and any bonuses that you get for that particular roll, whether it be strength, agility, comtech, all those sorts of things that you would expect in a game of Alien RPG. You will also roll one of those yellow dice for every point of stress, and for every one of those, if you get a face hugger on any of those yellow dice, you will have to then do a panic roll. If you also roll one of those, it means you can't push your roll, so you only succeed on a 6, and you only do the panic rolls if any stress dice that you roll a face hugger. Any other result, nothing happens, you don't succeed. So if you come up with no successes at all, but you've got no stress dice, you can push all of those once, so you can re-roll all of those dice. But I believe if you push, you also get a stress dice at that point. But also any stress dice that you don't, if you don't roll any of those face huggers, you can pick up all of those stress dice again, and you have to roll every single dice again, and then you will re-roll them all. And then if you do get successes, then obviously your action, your attack, combat is a success. But again, even on the re-roll, if any of those come up a face hugger, you will need to make a panic roll, and then you will roll your panic plus a modifier, and then you will consult this chart, so from 0 to 12, and then that will tell you what your character has befallen. So sometimes they're nothing, you know, maybe just drop a weapon, or you know, lose an action, or modifiers to your next set of actions until you drop your stress levels, or you could be sort of stricken with fear or having to run out of the room. So there's loads of different things that can happen. As I say, you've got panic rolls here. So you roll a d6 and then you add your stress level, you subtract your resolve, and you check the panic response table, which is this one here. And then this is your stress response roll. So you've got all sorts of different things here that will go along with that. And this mother screen, as I say, is an invaluable tool for GMs. All of these tables and things are in the book. This screen, I think, costs about 15 British pounds. Is an invaluable tool if you're running the game, and you could make your own if you want. You could copy some of the tables. They're dotted all around the book, so this brings all of the tables that the GM is going to need into that one handy space, and also obviously provides you with that screening of so that the players can't see what's happening for the GM. If you've got one of the old screens, you could use that as well, so you've got that sort of double screen. If you've got a big table area to cover and you want to hide more things from them, you can use both of them. But for the new Evolved Edition, this is the one that you will need. So this will be sort of valid for some years to come. I can't see them changing the rules again for some time, because what they've done with the new edition is far better than what it was initially. They've just sort of tweaked a few bits here and there, and you know, it was an excellent game anyway. They've just sort of rejigged a few areas in the rules and sort of clarified a few things in the rules, and also made the rule book read a lot better, simply because it was all printed on black paper with white writing, and now they've gone down the more traditional route of having white paper with your traditional sort of black writing and pictures. So a lot easier to read. I think some people complained about that, and in areas, yes, it could be difficult to read, and it's just much clearer to do it the way they've done it, and these sort of things are an invaluable tool. So that's the GM mother screen. The other thing that we've got here, and secondly, that again, thank you to Free League for sending these. This is the Alien miniatures set for the first of a trilogy, I believe, of scenarios called Rapture Protocol. That's the first one, and in here you're going to get 20 high quality hard plastic miniatures for the official game. You don't need these. There are tokens, I believe, in Rapture Protocol, and I'm going to show you that again today just because it goes along with this, so it made sense to bring that one back to the table as well and give you another quick flick through what you get in that set. So a lot of people buy all of these things as a package, although they are individual purchases. So yeah, the 28mm scale, perfectly sized for use on the large battle maps, but also if you're also running miniatures games, because there are now rules for Alien to be a skirmish game. You can get those off the Free League site, and that looks really interesting as well. But when you play the games, you don't need to just use maps and things like your old D&D stuff, although there are some nice maps that come along with the games now for the areas that you will be playing in, including spaceships and sort of space stations and things on planets, you know, buildings and sort of home world areas. But I like to have sort of physical buildings, so my plan is to run games and use sort of physical buildings and things, and do some of my own scenarios as well as doing these ones. So we'll open up the box and we'll take this out. So it's been excellently packaged, lovely insert for the models, and I am going to be sort of spraying and painting these, but I thought I'd show you them first, how they come. So they're all sort of your typical sort of grey hard plastic miniatures, and they are fantastically detailed, so I will show you them up close hopefully. So, and each of these represent one of the characters in the actual scenario, so they're not just generic figures, they are usable in the scenario. And you know, some of them are similar because they'll obviously have, you know, being on a home world and things, they will have similar clothing, but some are just, you know, that guy's there, got his hands in his pocket sort of thing. Then we've got, if you've watched Aliens when Ripley used the power loader, so there's one of those with, hopefully you can see there is a figure, a person in there, and it is difficult to tell, but it does look like a female character. So, you know, and then we've got some other people. So they do look very nice, and then obviously you do get a couple of Xenos, and you can buy these Xenos from other people, but you do get a couple in this box, and to be honest you could probably run a game with just 2 of these, because they're going to be on the board and fighting people, and most of the time they'll fight one person, and sometimes they'll just drag that person off, so that Xeno can then be used again if they meet a Xeno at another point within the scenario. And you also get, which I really do like, you get a couple of little face huggers. So again, those are quite good, because obviously you don't get the Xenos without somebody saying hello to one of these little beauties. So these will be running around in people's scenarios everywhere they can, either in the usual and obligatory air shafts and things, but crawling out from under tables and jumping off cupboards and areas to try and latch onto people's faces and incubate their eggs inside somebody. But yes, there's all sorts of lovely miniatures in here. Just give you a quick flyby as it comes there. You can see, hopefully you can see they're all very nicely done. They're nice and solidly packaged, really nice packaging, and once you've painted those up, if that's what you want to do, they'll fit back in there and easily transportable when you're playing your games. But you can use those figures for other sort of sci-fi games as well. So if you like the look of those, but you're not a Alien RPG player, but you think, yeah, that those would do excellent for things like Stargrave or 5 Parsecs from Home, as well as this. So you know, don't be put off just by the fact that they have got the Alien RPG. You can still go to Free League and purchase these for other things, or use with other things, along with obviously playing your games of the Alien RPG. And there on the back there's a picture there of all of them that you will get inside, and obviously the description of what you're getting in the box. So that's the miniatures for that particular part of the game, which is this Alien Rapture Protocol. So this is a cinematic adventure. So as I say, you get in here, if you haven't got the miniatures, you do get tokens for all of your characters, and you get tokens for the Xenos. You get your blips for your motion trackers, and you can put those out on the maps. But yeah, so these are just easy use. So again, you can use these without having to buy the miniatures, but I always think that the miniatures do look nice when you're playing these sorts of games, especially if you are doing it with the maps and stuff, and not just like your old games of D&D in the past where you just had map, pencil and used your imagination, and nobody used tokens or miniatures. And then you get a stack of cards. So these are your, what they call personal agenda cards. I'm not going to show you too much of this because obviously they will spoil. I'll show you one there. So this is for the character York, you can see here. So that's their personal agenda card. You've even got, and then you've got pictures on the back of the characters and the character name, and you've even got the ship's cat, so called Mazarin, and it's got its own set of attributes as well, so which you'll see on the front of the card there. So you've got your character card and you've got your personal agenda cards for the characters as well. So what we've got in here that you get if you were to purchase this, you've got the Rapture Protocol Adventure Booklet. So again, we will show you a few bits, but not too much, again, to spoil it for both GMs and players, like more for the players, because you don't want the players to see too much. But as you can see down here, you've got those miniatures that I've just shown you. They've got little pictures of those dotted in various places throughout the book. You've got your character pages here and NPCs. Then you've got things like your weapons. You've got some very nice pictures, and if you go onto the Free League site, there's a lot of free downloads that you can do for character sheets and things, but you do get some character sheets in here, but you can make your own up. Then also you've got some nice pictures of the place that your scenario is set, and then some nice world pictures as well. And these are also on the Free League site, so you can use them for your backdrops for your computer screens or your phones, all that sort of stuff. Again, more different areas within the complex, and this will tell you how the game is going to go, how you run it, what's going to happen, what the object of the game is. and then you've got the Jeremiah 6 mine complex, so that's what and where you are. Then we've got all of these character sheets, so again I'm not going to show you too much of those, but you can see there you've got your character sheets and you've got your pictures of your characters there. So not all of those characters are going to those miniatures are going to be characters that you'll play. Some of those will obviously be NPCs as well. Then you've got basically an aerial view of the mining facility and the ship. You've got some screen and handouts, so again I'll just give you a quick flick through of those. I'm not going to show you what that text says. And then you've got some smaller fold out maps like that, but then you also get these. So you've got larger areas that will come into play so that your miniatures will be on there, and again you've got the maps that we saw earlier, you've got those in larger form. So I think this is A1, I think. The only thing that I would have potentially done differently is had 2 of these, because sometimes you might have people still in this part of the complex and some might go into this area, but you can't turn it over if people are already in it. So I may get this copied somewhere just to have a second copy of one of the sides, but that's the only thing that I would have changed about this. I'd have put 2 of these large maps in simply to make it easier for the players, and to have potentially both of these on the table at the same time if it's required. But they are very nice, exceptional quality. As I say, you have got those 2, that smaller one, so you could at a push use that, but you're not going to be able to put too many of the miniatures on there, and the tokens are pretty much the same size as the figure bases anyway, so the tokens or miniatures aren't really going to make too much difference of which one you use. So that's just a quick look through the actual scenario itself of Alien Rapture Protocol to go along with that miniature set that I showed you. So if you like the look of this and it's a game that you have been thinking about getting into, as I say, you can check out the Free League website or go to a show like the UK Games Expo and check out their trade stand where they'll have all of these sorts of things there. They do tend to get quite busy because there's a lot of different scenarios and things and stuff that they sell on the day, not just for this game but for others, as well as your main rule books and starter sets, dice packs, because there are special dice for this. You don't necessarily need to buy their dice, but they are nice because they are in keeping with the sort of alien theme and the look of the game. But you can just, as long as you've got 2 different colours, and primarily one should be yellow and the other ones are, the normal ones are black, but you can use any colours that you wish as long as you donate which are which. And then they've got other games like Lord of the Rings and quite a few other role-playing systems in all different genres, not just sci-fi but fantasy as well. So yeah, it's well worth checking out their website and all their trade stand at an event. And so yeah, if you like the look of that, as I say, get yourself on over to Free League and check it out. And there are clubs and things that will be running these sorts of things all the time, so you can also check out online if your local club or somewhere locally might be running a Alien RPG session. I think you can also play it online, so you could have a game online. If you check out YouTube, there's lots of videos. If you want to see how the game plays, there's lots of videos that online sort of RPG YouTube channels have done, not only these, the new ones, but some of the old ones, and also fan written scenarios, so you can check out whether this game is going to be for you. But if you like the Alien films and the Alien universe, then yeah, you could do no worse than than getting yourself a set of these, and even just sitting reading the rule books are really nice. There's new things coming out all the time, including Colonial Marine Manual due out any moment. So as I say, head on over to Free League Publishing and bag yourself a copy. And until we do another one of these, it's bye for now.